Welcome to the CNCS Cross-Stream Impact Panel and our closing plenary session. Have you had a good week this week? Great. Well, we have so enjoyed having you all here and hosting you. Actually, we're sad to see you leave. Wish this could go on a little longer. I'm being sincere. It always feels weird when everyone's here and then all of a sudden, all of our partners are gone. Well, today I am joined by National Service Program leaders who you don't always see at the AmeriCorps State National Symposium. In a few minutes, you will hear from Senior Corps Director Debbie Cox-Rausch, from AmeriCorps NCCC Director Gina Cross, from our AmeriCorps Vista Director Desiree Tucker-Serini. They're here today to discuss ways that our programs can work together and how we can increase our collaboration. 2 nights ago, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of National Service and of AmeriCorps. We're committed to uniting under the banner of the Corporation for National and Community Service, all programs coming together. We share a common history of service, and we're working toward the same goals. As most of you know, some of these programs have histories that are longer than AmeriCorps itself, and their work has informed the service that we do in communities across the nation. We take great pride in the fact that national service programs are careful stewards of taxpayer dollars. We know that if we align our strengths and work together, we can increase the impact of our service. The idea of working together with other national programs in a collaborative way is one that I've discussed with my fellow program directors for quite a while, and it's a commitment that we all have. We share this commitment to work together to increase the impact of national service. I'm excited about the ways we've used past and present experiences of our partner programs to help AmeriCorps State and National programs become stronger and more effective. And I expect this information pipeline to expand in the future. So again, we rarely have the privilege of getting all 4 program directors together in one session and on the same stage. And I'm really excited about this opportunity today. I'm thrilled that we can make this happen. So let's kick off this plenary session. I would begin by welcoming our Acting AmeriCorps NCCC Director, Gina Cross, to the stage.
Thanks. Good morning, y'all. How's it going? Good. I already took a picture of you, so you are logged in my life cycle of photos forever. So we now have some shared history. One thing about today is I don't really have anything new to tell you, but I'm going to remind you about some really cool stuff that we already have going on and that we'd like to see happen in the future. So if you have talked to me already and I've been giving you the shakedown, I'm sorry you're going to hear some of this again, but I'm going to make it much more interesting. There could be singing, there might be dancing, there will definitely be audience participation. Anybody been to a graduation where I've spoken? Raise of hands. Okay, good. So you all know what's going on. Help everybody else when we need to stand up and sit down. The Catholics in the room, I'm going to ask you to move people along when up, down. No kneeling, just standing. Standing and sitting. All right, so from my perspective, the vision for NCCC is really, really simple. And I keep it simple so we can stay focused and meet some of just the basic tenets of executing the mission of our program. So, looking forward, recruitment and retention. We're talking about it all the time. We're looking for ways to make improvements and be successful. Having the most relevant project base. And in doing that, we're meeting our nation's most critical needs, which helps us execute the second part of our mission. Thirdly, we're focused on building champions, and this piece is all-encompassing of everybody who interacts with us or has potential to interact with us and affect our work in some positive way. So Building Champions is focused on people who can help us move the mission forward. And there are lots and lots of people who help us do that, including all of you in this room. And if you aren't already helping us, you will be soon, hopefully. All right, so let's talk about the reason why my vision is simple and clear and focused, and you're probably going to hear it from me for many years to come, is that I have a goal of building the best business case possible for NCCC. And why is that important? Because we're not the cheapest program. We're actually the opposite, the most expensive cost per member of our program. So I'm a numbers person. If you were here on Wednesday at the anniversary, you probably heard me talking a lot of numbers. And numbers are important to me for a lot of reasons. But most importantly, to use the right numbers to demonstrate the return on investment for our programs is the reason why we must always be focused on what that best business case is. Because what I can tell you is we may be the most expensive, but the flexibility and the value we add to all the pieces of national service in our country are not just important, they're vital and necessary. And I hope that that focus, we're instilling a path of accountability, of data-driven decision-making. For the first time in a very long time, we are doing important research about our members and about the impact of our mission in this country, which I'm very proud of all of those things. So all of that just to give you a brief summary of kind of where we are with NCCC, so that I can then next talk about how we're doing it collaboratively, because we have lots and lots of work that crosshatches. And in addition to the hat that I wear for NCCC, I got another one for disaster services for the whole agency, which we have many, many, many more touch points collaboratively. But I would like to elevate and equalize some of that, because all this work, is really important. And we connect to each other from a national perspective and a local perspective because you have information and expertise that we need when it relates to all of our abilities to execute our work. You are in the States. You are part of our process in reviewing our project dockets. I'm looking to building the best business case in collaboration with all of our national service partners, whether it be the Senior Corps folks that get in the RVs and drive out to disaster, whether it be our partners that go out with us into helping us find the best places to be in rural communities to meet those needs, or a vital emerging need in your community. We talk about NCCC as being the appetizer on the national service menu, or the gateway drug to national service. But we look at it in a way that is, a force multiplier. And I know you've heard me say that before, because we have the ability to infuse, fill a gap where an immediate need is, to be in some place that maybe isn't ready for a long-term grant or able to make matching dollars for that work. We can come in for a short period of time, or we can expand our amount of time from 12 weeks to 12 months up to 4 years, depending on how critical the need is and what we think our ability is to move the needle. So as I'm looking forward, oops, I forgot about the slides. Hold on, there's me. This is the information that I shared on Wednesday about the 25 years of history. This is where we are now. We've made a lot of changes in the last 2 years, 3 years actually, and closed the campus that was in Baltimore, redistributed our members across the country to the 4 other campuses, and I predict that as our new regional office comes on line, we will be readjusting those states again so that we streamline the work that we do collectively. I'm excited for the opportunity when this comes, because we've been running a regional program for 26 years now successfully. And we've been doing just the kind of work that will be coming in a very focused and concentrated way to meet the most critical needs of our nation. So I'm excited for the opportunity to have NCCC play an important role in that. Across the country, I talked a little bit about disaster already, but across the country in the last 2 years, we have been everywhere. And with your help through leveraging the AmeriCorps disaster response teams and our cadre and folks who already have programming that's dedicated to disaster, thank you. It has been quite a couple of years, and it doesn't look to be slowing down anytime soon. So we'll look forward to more collaborations as we're waiting for waters to recede in Houston today. So a little example of where we've been. And over the last 2 years, we've leveraged a lot of federal resources to execute our work. And again, I don't see that declining, but there's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunities for that. So as we talk about collaboration, we're already doing it really, really well. So thank you for your support in that. Now here comes the audience participation part. Please stand. So I talked about my 3 goals, right? Please stand if you served in NCCC. Stay standing. Stay standing. Stay standing, please. Don't sit back down. Please stand if you have visited or hosted an NCCC team in collaboration with your work in the state. Please stand. Please stand if you have been visited by our project development teams or region directors to talk about what your state priorities are. This is a little accountability exercise. If you haven't been visited, you will be. So I'll take tally later. All right, look around the room. Please, okay, stay standing, stay standing. Please stand if you served in any AmeriCorps program. Look around the room. Please stand if you've served in any branch of military service or the Peace Corps. Please stand if you've been a public servant in any way. So everything from fire, EMT, to maybe jobs you have right now on behalf of the state or federal government. How did I miss somebody? What do you do, sir? Thank you, thank you. All right, it seems like everybody is collectively standing. Did I miss anybody? Okay, good job. Have a seat. So, looking around at our community of people who are focused on this work, collaboration is easy. I talked about 3 priorities: recruitment and retention. The reason why recruitment and retention is so important to me is not just to execute the 10 months or 11 months of service people have with us, but it is to build a pathway to employment. Our folks end up getting skills and expertise that they need during service with us. Very often, they go and get jobs with you or for you. We're doing a good thing here. In addition, I met with folks from SBP yesterday. Are they here? 40% of their staff are AmeriCorps alums. 40% of their staff are AmeriCorps alums. Now, I remember SBP from the St. Bernard Project during Hurricane Katrina when they were just getting started and leveraging NCCC resources to execute their mission. So we have a long history of generating these partnerships. Did you know SBP offers $100 extra in the stipend? They recruit very specifically for NCCC members, once they finish their first term of service, to come and work for them. It's pretty cool. And I think we have a tremendous opportunity amongst us. So 75,000 AmeriCorps State National slots, 4,000 plus VISTA slots, 2,000 NCCC FEMA Corps slots. We already have people committing 1 year to service amongst us all. NCCC only gets, at a maximum, anywhere from 2 to 10% on the second year of service in the same program. But we'd like to have a lot more folks on a second year of service coming from your programs. In particular, our team leaders. We would love to have the experience generated by 2 different kinds of service programs. Because let's be honest, living together, working together for 24 hours a day, 10 months out of the year, or 11, It's a lot to ask. Anybody done that before? Lived and worked with the people who you're most closest to for a long period of time, in addition to the NCCC alums? Jesuit Volunteer Corps, I know there's a few that get it done. It's not a common experience that we share, but service is. And through service, as we all have a shared now common experience working with people, if we leverage our programs so that life after AmeriCorps has more of a common expectation to earn those 2 Ed Awards instead of 1, I think that's a pretty good stretch goal for us looking ahead. What do you think? Yeah? Good. Other ways that we've collaborated is that I am a person that believes that all boats rise. And any effort that factors into that helps us to grow our recognition, let people know who we are through general awareness or targeted recruitment is really important to me. And it's so important to me that I put the dollars that NCCC has behind funding opportunities to get information out there about our programs. And I spent a lot of time with little kids this summer, so I got a little, kids songs in my head. It's a John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt moment, right? Sing with me. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, your name is my name too, AmeriCorps. I mean, we all have a shared experience, and we can get there through sharing our opportunities. So we had some up and down, we had some singing. I'm gonna wrap it up here. We have a ton of opportunities for the future. And the 2 things or 3 things where I think we connect most in and around, surprise, surprise, the 3 goals that I have set, recruitment and retention. Let's figure out ways to work together because we recruit and retain the right kind of people who then move forward to either work with us, work for us, or we work for them. I think that sounds like a good opportunity to me. If you think about project development, it's important to us to know what the most critical needs are in your state or trends that are emerging so that we together can build projects that execute on that mission. So, listen to this idea. I think it's simple. We're already doing it in places like Texas and Kentucky. I'm from Kentucky and I'm half Texan, so I'll start with those 2, but they've been out of the gate. But let's think about one project that we do on a regular basis wherever the work goes. The Veterans Wheelchair Games. They happen every year. We've had them in Cincinnati, Louisville, and next they're coming up in Portland. So we have a ton of opportunity because for X number of weeks, it's like 15-day time period, these games come to a city where they infuse a ton of private sector dollars in sponsorship. They garner a lot of attention through media, social media, etc. And we serve at those games. This last year, thanks to Kentucky Joe, is you in the room, Joe? Maybe headed out already. Helped us to then add on to work collaboratively between NCCC, the state office, and the state commission to add on a service opportunity to that event. Now, next year in Portland, I'd like to leave something important behind for the community. And I'm gonna need some help doing that because Maura has a lot of work to do around this. And Elliot, who's our new Director of Outreach and Partnership, who's joined us recently, needs some help. So how do we build a lasting opportunity where NCCC can have a project that impacts the veterans that stay behind after the games come and go? I think we have some opportunities. So we've talked about recruitment and retention, we've talked about projects. The last thing on my list is building champions. All of you are already connected to all of us in every way through service. We're required by statute to work together because you approve our project slates and contribute to our work. Many of you already meet strategically with our project developers to make sure we're helping you meet those goals of the state service plans. I need many more of you to be doing that with us so that we are a force multiplier effect for what the needs are, what happens, and we're moving the needle for results. All of that for all of us factors into the best business case for AmeriCorps. So I will leave you with that, and I'll look forward to the opportunities to build it up later. We didn't get to the dancing, but we got some singing and standing, so thank you.
Please welcome back to the stage Desiree Tucker Sorini.
Chester, I have a request. Can I not follow Gina next year? She's a hard act to follow. I have a confession to make, so my poor staff is going to be really disappointed. They put together these great slides, and I didn't read my instructions very well and didn't realize I was controlling the slides. And I redid my speech last night and this morning. So I'm not going to use my slides because I think they could be out of order. I'm using this as an excuse because I'm 12 days into the job, but that really isn't quite accurate or fair. It's my pleasure to be here today as we continue recognizing 25 years of AmeriCorps. I believe in public service of all kinds, including, sorry, I can't see without my glasses. I believe in public service of all kinds, including all the bright, energetic, problem-solving federal workers I have had the great pleasure and honor to work with in my career. Public service is a noble calling, and CNCS supports the great work that you do in your communities as our partner. I'm honored to represent VISTA at this symposium. I am grateful to Barbara Stewart for her leadership and faith in me, first as her chief of staff for the last year and a half, and now as the director of VISTA. I have a long history of government service and volunteering, including a stint working for President George H.W. Bush for 4 years at the Treasury Department. I also want to honor the incredible work that Eileen Conaboy, AmeriCorps VISTA's deputy director, and the entire VISTA staff, everything that they have been doing. Eileen has been serving as VISTA's acting director since 2016. She has done such a tremendous job leading the program for the last several years. She's not here right now, but I agree. But I am grateful for her leadership and excited to be her partner in advancing the mission of fighting poverty. This mission is critical to the overall health of our country and our economy. Let's take a step in the Wayback Machine to 1990, which sadly does not seem that long ago to me. Imagine we're at the White House where President George H. Bush is speaking at the swearing-in ceremony to mark the 25th anniversary of VISTA, Volunteers in Service to America. And the president says, you don't often notice VISTAs at work because theirs is a quiet mission. But when I speak of the 1,000 points of light, please know that no light is more dazzling and brighter than the VISTA volunteers. And to think I was just next door at the Treasury Department at that time, I would have never guessed I would someday lead the VISTA program. Later, of course, President Bush would sign the National Community Service Act of 1990, laying the groundwork for an expansion of national service and the creation of AmeriCorps. And fast forward to today, over 50 years into VISTA programming, and we are celebrating with you 25 years of being a part of the AmeriCorps family. It's incredible to me that VISTA has now spent nearly half of its existence as a part of AmeriCorps. Over the years, we have made changes, but our overall mission remains the same. VISTA sponsors and members still represent those dazzling points of light, and they are burning brightly. We still focus VISTA resources on efforts to address poverty, which has been the driving purpose since VISTA's inception. As a nation, we have made some progress, but the work is never done. In fact, in 2018, 38.1 million Americans were still experiencing poverty. VISTA's programming has evolved and adapted to the changing needs of the nation. We have been in many areas across the country helping fight the opioid crisis, helping individuals overcome barriers to work, helping families find affordable housing, and helping veterans and military families. And a personal focus of mine is to help overcome barriers to broadband and increase digital literacy. Let's help get everyone across the digital divide. Broadband and digital literacy improve access to healthcare, public services, financial resources, housing, education, and jobs. VISTA can be a part of the solution. VISTA leaves a legacy by creating and strengthening programs that will benefit the community even after VISTA resources are no longer present. While VISTA's original principles endure, we continue to streamline, create efficiencies, and simplify. This constant evolution will prepare VISTA and National Service to flourish over the next 25 years. During the past few years, Eileen Conaboy has led the VISTA team to improve all aspects of the program in the following ways. And I have to again say, I am so lucky to have her as a partner. She is very visionary. She's redesigned our member orientation and training programs to save money and create a better experience for our members and improve member retention. She and her staff organized and held the first ever, as far as we can tell from the records, VISTA sponsor convening in Florida this summer. She's changed the review of VISTA concept papers to 4 times a year, quarterly. October 1, January 1st, April 1st, and July 1st. We are starting a pilot campus recruiters program, which I'll talk about later. Additionally, VISTA has a long history of partnering and leveraging dollars from other federal agencies to further support VISTA's mission. In just the last few years, HUD has provided over $5 million to support our programs. This is a strong partnership, and we hope to have more collaborations in the future. It's important to note that VISTA often becomes the entry point for many organizations that have never partnered with the federal government and may struggle to set up fiscal systems for managing and reporting on federal funds, because I know you all know it's really easy to work in e-grants and on our portal. Once they learn about National Service resources, they look to other streams of service within CNCS. VISTA is in a unique position to expand National Service through collaboration. Currently, there are about 300 sites where your members and VISTAs are serving at the same location. Let's make those numbers grow. At least 5 state commissions are sponsors of VISTA. I want to hear from you on how VISTA can help you in your state. We are eager to partner with you and with Senior Corps on projects that address poverty. We are all a part of the same National Service team, and together we will be so much stronger and more apt to find the solutions to local problems. As director, my goal will be to expand on that collaboration with you and with my colleagues at CNCS. We should not just partner on projects, but as Gina said, we need to partner on recruitment. Each of our programs are different, and they draw a different kind of person. Sometimes people will serve in more than one of our programs, but sometimes one program is better for that personality type. Let's work together to improve on recruitment and retention. We, as I said before, are piloting a small program this year, hiring part-time recruiters at up to 9 universities. They will help, this is an exciting way to help us spread the word about all of AmeriCorps opportunities to new audiences. And I believe our summer associates could become a fantastic feeder into AmeriCorps programs, including VISTA, NCCC, and all of your programs. We also need to recruit those career shifters like me. And that's something that Senior Corps can do as well. Working together, we must tell the story of how a year of service can change the trajectory of your career. Every day, I hear stories about how VISTA changed someone's life, and I know that's true in all of our programs. I see national service as a change agent, and by working together, leveraging resources and streams of service, we can address many of the problems in our communities. Let's change and improve the lives of those we serve. Let's create change in local communities, change a life, a career, improve job skills as AmeriCorps or Senior Corps member or volunteer. Change perceptions and create empathy and understanding of our neighbors by working with people different from ourselves. I want us all to be a change agent and continue this partnership in service. Public service and national service as partners will change the discourse of our country. Together, we will get things done. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Deborah Cox-Rausch.
So I promise I'm not going to make you sing because it's even worse knowing that my 65-year-old face is on this high-definition television up here. But let me assure you, I earned every one of these gray hairs. So good afternoon. Happy anniversary. I'm delighted to be here with all of you who represent national service commissions, AmeriCorps grantees, and other AmeriCorps stakeholders. Chester, I just really want to thank you for having me here today, and it's such an honor to serve with all of you as directors. You know, I was thrilled when I found out Chester was coming to CNCS because we had worked on projects together previously, and it's always good to have a fellow Floridian in the same town, so good to have you here, Chester. You all should know that Chester and I make a point to meet periodically to discuss programs, mutual activities, and brainstorm about what we can do to collaborate together. And although you are here for the AmeriCorps Symposium, I hope you understand that you are a cadre of individuals who are part of a larger CNCS National Service team, which also includes Senior Corps foster grandparents, senior companions, and RSVP. But I'm also here to recruit you because you all will turn 55 sooner or later. You know, why our Senior Corps and AmeriCorps programs may be structured just a little differently, we all have one mission: to engage volunteers and members in service and volunteering that meets the critical and unique needs of America's communities. All of our programs, members, and volunteers are committed to the CNCS mission. So let me take a minute to thank those of you in the room who are serving, and also to thank those of you that have served. Senior Corps volunteers and AmeriCorps members play a vital role in helping communities design and implement locally determined, results-driven, and cost-effective solutions to local problems. I'll get it out. I want to share just a couple of examples with you. Throughout the country, Senior Corps volunteers and AmeriCorps members serve together at events during Nationals Days of Service. In South Florida, I don't always just talk about Florida, I promise. The Institute on Aging sponsors the Senior Companion Program and the Legacy Corps. The Institute combines the 20-hour training requirement of the Senior Companion Volunteer Program to include Legacy Corps members, and both members and volunteers jointly participate at the bi-monthly in-service trainings. Then, just last week, I heard about a new joint venture being launched in Arizona through an AmeriCorps program called Alternatives to Managing Pain. This initiative, which is focused on addressing the opioid crisis, so important in our time, is based on the Senior Corps Senior Companion Program model, with volunteers serving as companions who also provide opioid education to their clients. The program is developing the volunteer and member training based on the Senior Companion Program as a training model, but we onboarding both Senior Corps volunteers and AmeriCorps members who will serve simultaneously. The members and volunteers will then serve side by side in some of the same communities and working with the same partners. I also heard, I hear a lot, that sometime this winter, and Gina confirmed this for me today, the NCCC team will be going to Douglas Community Services in Missouri that sponsors the Senior Corps RSVP programs. I understand that they're already planning to collaborate and the team members will serve together in the Toys for Tots campaign. So as capacity builders, Senior Corps and AmeriCorps programs recruit, motivate, and manage additional volunteers in programs important to citizens at the local level and on issues of national priority. This extraordinary force for good makes our country stronger and makes our country better every day. And in doing so, I think we know that the volunteers and the members not only improve the communities in which they serve, but they also transform their own lives. Now, as Senior Corps Director, I guess I should talk about Senior Corps just a little bit, so that's what I'm gonna do. You may or may not be aware that with more than 200,000 volunteers and a history that dates back to the 1960s, Senior Corps is one of the oldest programs in the National Service family and the oldest program dedicated specifically for adults age 55 and older. We know that one of the great benefits of volunteering is the impact of the community. That's one of the reasons why Senior Corps volunteers are highly valuable. They're actual citizens in the communities which they serve and provide volunteer service, so they already understand the needs and they prefer to give back in the communities they live. I also believe that because they live in these communities, they can serve longer periods of time. A while back, we conducted a survey about our volunteers. In addition to discovering that the average age is 73, yes, I have a few years to go. Our foster grandparent and senior companion volunteers serve an amazing 6 years, but our RSVP volunteers serve 8. Throughout the country, our volunteers support more than 23,000 unique local sites, and their length of service enables them to help meet a wide array of community challenges. In fact, in 1 year, Senior Corps volunteers provided 50 million hours of service. That included tutoring and mentoring more than 150,000 children, through companion and respite care, providing increased social support to more than 365,000 frail, elderly, or individuals with some type of disability. You know, I was recently at an event where I presented a Presidential Service Award to one of my Senior Corps volunteers who was, get this, 91 years old. While I was citing her accolades, she stopped me. And I was kind of like in a panic. What is she going to do? And she says, "What? Wait, what are you doing this for?" And I was like, oh my gosh. And she says, "I'm not done yet." Imagine that. 91, and she's not done yet. In my travels throughout the country, I get to see our volunteers in action, and I'm always captivated by the dedication and enthusiasm they bring to their service. But I'm also always in thought about how to improve upon the current service that we all provide, to how to expand activities in other areas that demonstrate we're not done yet. That brings me to discussing some of the activities, and I told Chester I would share with you, that's currently in process for Senior Corps, and some thoughts I have about the future. As you know, grant competition, or if you don't know, grant competition for RSVP was legislated during the 2009 Serve America Act. We're in the second round of these competitions and currently have an open notice of funding opportunity with grant applications due on September 25th at 5 p.m. These competitions continue to yield Senior Corps sponsor organizations that are either new to Senior Corps or new to CNCS. If you're aware of any organization, I ask you to please, if they were thinking of applying, please encourage them to get that application in by September 25th. Then while it is not legislated, during the first week in October, we will be opening a replacement competition for foster grandparents and senior companion projects for uncovered geographic service areas. Beyond that, there are some administrative changes that I'd really like to consider. Since 2002, the foster grandparent and senior companion program volunteers have received a meager stipend of $2.65 an hour. When I talk to them, that's not why they serve, but it certainly does help them. So pending our appropriations, I am considering an increase of that stipend to $3. Again, that's if, and only if, an appropriation increase is sufficient enough to increase the stipend. I'm hoping so. As for RSVP, we've done a lot of study on the program and just completed 10 case studies, and so we are going to really be diving into those case studies to look how we can expand RSVP. Senior Corps regulations were implemented many years ago, so I'm always reviewing them to see if there are regulations that we might edit and/or change to help our grantees, to overcome some of the administrative burden and overcome some of the current barriers and challenges that they might face. Our most recent final rule came out on January 31st. I will be done shortly, but I do want to go through some of the challenges we're all going to face. Excuse me. Because let's talk briefly about the retirement of the baby boomer generation. We know that the first baby boomers turned 65 in 2011. And the last of that generation will turn 65 in 2029. Excuse me, I'm gonna drink water. So that means 98 million Americans will be over the age of 55 in just 10 years. I hate that screen. You know, as boomers grow older, and I'm in that generation, they will need care and support within their communities. But at the same time, they're living longer, so they will also be able to provide care to others if they receive organizational support like Senior Corps. You know, this generation represents a major service market, both on the demand side and the supply side. I don't know why I'm coughing. Chester, there's something in the air. This is where you get really embarrassed. Yeah.
Do you want me to finish? Cough drop?
No.
Thank heavens I didn't do this at the 25th.
Just give me a minute. You can sing, Maggie. Wow, I don't know where that came from. Ken, you're next. No, I'm good. Under pressure, always good. See, you guys made me so nervous that I'm like, start coughing. Just give me 1 second. I truly don't know what happened. So, on the supply side, I want to look at the kind of service activity expansions that we can develop for Senior Corps to engage some of the widest and brightest older minds. It's leaving me. Give me just a minute. Gosh. I'm glad I don't have the lavalier on. You'd hear me sniffling and everything. Over the past couple of years, we have made tremendous success in creating partnerships. And this is really why I want to continue going, because I want to talk about you all. creating partnership to implement pilot programming funded by our sister federal agencies, the Department of Justice and the Veterans Administration. These agencies now fully understand the value added of Senior Corps volunteers in possessing them to help carry out their missions. I'm currently working on one demonstration project too right now that will be funded by another federal agency. But instead of just Senior Corps, I hope this package will include all service programs. I plan to present a national service package to this federal agency for additional funding for all of us. It is not done yet, but stay tuned. I'm almost done, and I'm almost done with this too. We can continue to have discussions with other federal agencies that are interested in partnering with us. So my next step will also be to reach out to engage other large national nonprofit organizations, foundations, and corporate entities to do the same. One of the biggest issues I believe Senior Corps and AmeriCorps can work on together is around innovative intergenerational programming. Our National Service Program already support millions of youth, helping them to graduate prepared for college, careers, and life. But many young people still fail to prosper in school and others struggle with college. So the need for national service for youth is still very, very pressing. In addition to supporting their cognitive skills, they also need support with non-cognitive, emotional skills that would help these students learn more efficiently. As we move forward on this national service journey together, I would like to commit Senior Corps to working with AmeriCorps to determine some innovative ways that our members and volunteers might fulfill this need. I believe we can do it. Thank you. I believe we can do it. I believe we can do it. Because if there's one thing I know Senior Corps works. And with AmeriCorps, with us together, we can all work together to be the greater good. Thank you again for having me here. Thank you for putting up with my coughing. But more importantly, thank you for everything you all do. I look forward, Chester, to collaborating with you even more and bringing our Senior Corps and AmeriCorps members together. Happy anniversary.
Please welcome back to the stage Chester Spellman.
Well, Debbie, Desiree, Gina, thank you so much for being here. I have to say, we have an amazing group of program directors, amazing group of leaders. It's an honor to be able to work with each and every one of you. Fortunate to be able to call you colleagues and friends. Well, I know that we only have a few minutes left, but in our closing couple of minutes, I just wanted to ask you all a few questions looking at opportunities for collaboration and also opportunities for the future. So the first question that I have, and this is actually a little off script, but the first question is, what are ways that AmeriCorps state and national grantees can help your programs?
I'm happy to start. I think as we look across the board, sharing expertise, knowledge, skills, and abilities, sharing priorities so that programs that are national, from our perspective, can execute locally or help you to execute locally. I'm going to go back to recruitment because I need team leaders. So I'd ask, to encourage folks to set the common expectation for a second year of service and leadership. I think those are some of the big ones.
Okay, thank you.
I can kind of speak to that. I don't think I'm going to cough this time either. So. First of all, I want to do webinars with our grantees to help them learn more about AmeriCorps. I would hope that you would do the same. because I don't think that there's cross-sectional knowledge, and that's the talk of this plenary, that we don't do that as much as we should do. Because I should be helping my grandparents, my volunteers, they have grandchildren. They could be recruiting AmeriCorps members. Your AmeriCorps members have grandparents, or like I say, you'll all be 55 sooner or later. So I would like just to see us, I think if the four of us on this stage have a more constant message of together, I don't want to work in silos anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important that we educate each other. Thank you. Educate our grantees about national service in general over the board. And there's a sign-up table outside for Senior Corps. Just kidding.
Thank you.
Chester, I completely agree with both my colleagues. I really think that if we work together, I mean, with VISTA, we have to focus on our overall mission, which is addressing poverty. But as we all know, there are so many different aspects of poverty. So I feel like there is a really wonderful opportunity to collaborate. I agree with you on the webinars. But I also think that those of you who are working with grantees, those of you in state commissions, to work with your grantees to say, VISTA is someone that, VISTA can help expand your program, can help grow your program. And I hope that you will look to VISTA resources both in the state commissions and with the individual grantees, because I think that together we are stronger. So I really agree with my two colleagues here.
Thank you. Well, Debbie, you made a point that I want to follow up on. You talked about silos, and that really is a theme that we have at CNCS amongst our programs, is breaking down silos. In the past, we realize programs have been a bit siloed, but we're really committed, as I referenced earlier, to unity, and we're all in this together. And so that's the way we're all operating. Yep. So I think I just have one final question or two in our closing minutes. Going back to opportunities for the future, I know all of you in your remarks, you talked about the opportunities between your program and AmeriCorps, state, national grantees and partners, but is there anything else on just the opportunities for future collaboration that you would like to highlight today?
I'll stop. In case you missed it in my coughing spell. No, I would really like for us to explore, Chester, intergenerational programming. I serve on the Federal Council of supporting grandparents raising grandchildren. It is a crisis in our country. And so I think we have a huge opportunity to do intergenerational programming, to match the youth with the wisdom of the seniors, and we don't do enough of that. So to me, I think that's probably the first collaboration. I also think there's a lot of opportunity for presentations by you all to help educate some of our volunteers, especially as what's happening with the opioid crisis or workforce development. I mean, seniors are working longer. And so, but I think intergenerational, as far as Senior Corps goes, I think it's going to be a crisis, even more so than it is today down the road, that we could really collaborate on projects together for that.
Great, thank you.
I'll add that I think I'll echo the intergenerational work. Debbie and I have talked several times. It happens naturally on disaster, so it's not that it isn't happening, but my dream of us partnering, NCCC 18 to 24-year-olds with seniors and their expertise adds to leadership, adds to skills and expertise, and then, just makes that experience much richer of service. But a couple of the other things I wanted to add is you saw the map on the screen with the disasters in the last 2 years. They don't include the ones from this year, so we'll have to add the third year. But left behind, after the press goes away, after the immediate response of the federal government, immediate attention of the FEMA work and stuff that we're doing goes away, a lot of times it's national service that remains. We have a long-term disaster recovery crisis in this country, and we don't talk about it very much because we're too busy looking at what the next pending disaster is. So for those of you living in communities where long-term disaster recovery is key, we've pioneered work in affordable housing that also meets disaster recovery work in the state of Colorado. We're doing something similar in the state of Texas. We have MOUs queued up with folks in Mississippi and Louisiana coming very soon. But so that we can dedicate resources and compound our efforts to meet these serious, long-lasting community needs. Last time I checked, there's still 10,000 people displaced from their homes in Houston from Hurricane Harvey. And the news headline this morning was the people of Beaumont who just recovered from Harvey and got back in their homes are now flooded again. So as these disasters become more and more, two things: we need disaster programs, more of them that are continually serving. We do need more folks to sign up with us and serve as disaster response teams. And if you don't know how to get that started, we'll help you figure it out. But long-term disaster recovery is a gap that we need to fill on behalf of the nation. The wildfires in California, we're working with California volunteers on some preparedness MOUs that are coming down the pike. So we're looking for opportunities to collaborate so that we meet those most critical needs, because these are lasting. So in addition to that, I mentioned earlier the pathways to employment. I think we richly connect the dots and focus on service motivation, but also the pathways to service careers like we all have here. I think there's some tremendous opportunities there.
Great, thank you.
And I think recruitment, we're in an economy that is doing very well, and particularly a lot of people who either are first generation college attendees or are from disadvantaged youth. You're more likely to take a $25,000, $30,000 job than do a year of service. And so I think that during this time period in particular, although we all want a good economy, a strong economy, but to find ways to demonstrate how a year of service is life-changing, how it does develop new career paths, how it does create friendships and experiences that take you out of your normal life and into an area where you're serving with people who are different than you are, takes you out of your bubble. And I think that makes our country so much better by giving people those diverse opportunities. But we have to sell that. And we can't sell that in a silo. Again, like I said before, our programs are all very different. And I love the idea of us selling to our young people that this is an opportunity for their grandparents, and for grandparents to be saying to their grandchildren, I'm in this program and it's for you too.
Yeah.
So I think there are real ways to make that happen.
Great. Well, I have another 4 or 5 questions for you all, but I know we're out of time. So let me close. And if you all can stay on the stage, I'll just make really brief closing comments. First of all, why don't you join me in a round of applause for Debbie, and Desiree, and Gina. Thank you all again for taking the time to be here. This really is unique. I don't know that all 4 of us, the 4 programs, have been together on a stage before. And so we should make a habit of doing this more often. And I'm committed at future conferences and symposiums to continue to highlight you, your programs, and the great work that you do. So thank you so much. Well, in closing, I just want to thank all of you for being here. As we've said many times throughout the last couple of days, the work that you do is so valuable, and we're so grateful for the partnership that we have with you and for your service. And you inspire us. Seeing the impact that your programs and that you make in communities is truly an inspiration. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. I think we have just a slide with my contact information. Most of you all know how to get in touch with me, but in case you don't, I'm going to give you my contact information. I would be more than happy to, whether you want to talk about collaboration, I can put you in touch with my fellow colleagues, or if there's any other topics that you'd like to discuss with me, please reach out to me directly. I'm here to serve you, and would love to speak with you offline about any topic that you're interested in connecting with me on. I do have one announcement. Brittany reminded me that there is a lost and found. She said there's a couple of valuable items. So if you're missing an item of value, go to lost and found. It's at the registration desk. And the very last thing I'm going to say is conferences like this do not happen without the hard work of a lot of people. I know I've recognized my team on a variety of occasions throughout this week, but again, thank you to all the CNCS staff that worked to put this on. Thank you to the AmeriCorps State National team. But most importantly, thank you to Brittany Tonning, our fairly new training manager, who is responsible for all of this. So let's give CNCS staff, ASN staff, and Brittany a round of applause. And I should have said this at the beginning, but you all look great in your gear. I know that this is the Wear Your AmeriCorps Gear Day, so thank you for that. You look great. Safe travels home, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.